guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC Fight Night Cop versus Horiguchi, the card after the legendary card. Tough. Tough one to get too excited for. Couple decent fights, but it's a Fight Night card at the Apex. Can't get too excited. Let's get right into the recap, guys. We're going to get right into the recap of UFC Freedom 250 at the White House. One of the best UFC events I have seen. Unbelievable. What a success it was, right? No weather. The weather held off. No really issues, it seems. Everything was perfect from the bands that were playing, the walkout, the fights. All fights finished, right? 7 fights, 7 finishes. We saw big upset in the main event, one that we'll talk about here in a second, and not one that I expected, or many, if any at all. Not the biggest upset in title history, some people will say. I don't believe that, especially the line. It tells you that, right? Gaethje was closing around plus 375, plus 400. I would say the best performance, the most legendary performance in a title fight. Unbelievable by Justin Gaethje. An upset that I did not see coming. I did say Topuria wins 9 out of 10 times. So I did give Gaethje somewhat of a shot. Just did not see that happening. And everything was going perfectly for me. 6-0 on sides going into that main event. But I had Topuria by finish, Topuria in a parlay. I had him in multiple bets, and it just kind of ruined the evening, right? Unbelievable. Just not something that I could have ever predicted happening. And it was close, right? Prediction was very close. That round 2, how did Justin survive that round 2? I have no idea. That liver shot was deadly. He got hurt. He fell to the ground. And what Topuria should have done, he should have let him up. Or continue the heavy ground and pound on the ground. Don't try to submit him. That was his big mistake. Should have either let him up, continue the heavy shots, or get on the ground and use big, heavy ground and pound. He went for the submission. Big mistake by Topuria. And he got hurt. He actually got hurt round 1 to the eye. Round 1, Gaethje hurt him with the one eye. Then he hurt both eyes. And Topuria just never been in the deep end like that. I just didn't see Gaethje hurting Topuria like that. Topuria's defense has been very good. He's been able to finish the fight. And normally, like, no one would have survived that round 2 but Justin Gaethje. Let's be clear. 100%. No one would have survived that round 2 but Justin Gaethje. So I just got to tip my cap to Justin Gaethje. Love the guy. Love watching him fight over the years. I just didn't think he could beat Topuria. I thought Topuria was going to stay undefeated. It's wild, right? If you think about it, guys, the last 3 months, we've seen 2 months, right? Chimaev lose and Topuria. And both these guys are guys that I would never bet against. It's crazy. It's crazy. Makes it fun though, right? Makes the game even a little harder to handicap. This year's been tough. This year's been one of the more tough handicaps that I've had over the years, right? Over the years, we've usually been cruising mid-60s, high 60s, 70%. This year, not so much. And it's due to some of these big surprises like this fight here. One that I wasn't surprised, the co-main. But before we get into the co-main, what's next for Topuria? It has to be Paddy. It's Paddy or nobody. It has to be Paddy. There's bad blood. They both lost to Gaethje. They both got their face fucked up from it. Sign me up. Gaethje scraps, you could say, right? Who would have thought Topuria would have lost? Crazy, crazy, crazy. And Gaethje, probably arm on if he doesn't retire. He could retire and just go away on top. That'd be a great retirement. But I think he still has, obviously, a ton left, guys. So Gaethje, Arman would have to be the next fight there. Co-main, not surprised. Gone. I did lean Gone. Hopefully you guys detail that. You get him a plus money. He was closing around plus 100. We haven't seen Pereira move up there. And we did, and he didn't look great. Slow. It looked like his feet was stuck in the sand. Had that a couple head kicks that he attempted, but Gane was just much more athletic, moved better. Remember, Gane moves like a middleweight, guys. Moves like a middleweight. They look a lot quicker in there, and he had the right game plan. He brought the fight to Pereira. That's the only way you can beat him. Bring the fight. Pressure Pereira. Put him on his back foot. That's the way you could beat Pereira, and Gane was able to do it. A couple question marks, I know, with the back of the head, elbows. Guys, he knocked him down, though, with the jab. Right? Gane already hurt him. So I'm not going to hold that too much. I wouldn't have called the fight or anything like that. Maybe a warning or whatnot, you could argue, but Gane was the better guy in there. Let's be honest. So, hats off to Gane. That was the only way I could look on that fight. Too many question marks with Pereira. I believe he should go back down. What's left really for him at heavyweight? I don't know, right? He's not going to get the rematch. He's calling for a rematch. I don't believe he will. Gane and Aspinall. Definitely that rematch is next. You can put Hokit against Pereira. I actually think it's a bad matchup for Pereira. Hokit will probably wrestle in that one. So, yeah, I think Pereira should go back down. O'Malley gets the KO in the second round versus Zahabi. Clear skill level difference. And we expected that, right? I expected the striking to be a lot higher level, the movement be too much. And I wasn't sure if he was going to get a finish. I actually leaned the decision, to be honest. But I expected O'Malley to win. O'Malley obviously was always the play. I don't know what Zahabi was doing with the leg. I get the leg kick portion of it. You want to kick Sean O'Malley's legs. We've seen it a way of him losing before or wrestling him. He didn't try. He didn't try to wrestle Zahabi. He didn't try it even once. I know Zahabi's not a big-time wrestler, but he didn't try at all. So that was disappointing to watch that Zahabi didn't even put up a better fight. Sean O'Malley, second round KO. He is a superstar, just like his walkout music says. Hokit by finish, always the play, right? Hokit by finish, minus 120. Decent price there. I had a straight up bet on that. Of course, I would have loved to see Lewis knock him out, minus my bet. But it didn't happen, right? It just, Derek Lewis didn't look like he wanted to be in there, right? It was just, Hokit was going to have his way anyway. He decided to just keep it standing. He brought him down, I think, once or twice, got some ground and pound in there. I think he tried a submission, just didn't look clean. He doesn't really have a submission game, but yeah, second round finish for Hokit. And hey, the guy talks the talk. I don't love the talking that he does, but he backs it up. So it's crazy that Hokit, who would have thought Hokit would be maybe one fight away from a title shot at the beginning of the year? Unreal. Next, I want to see him against either Volkov or the other Russian. That's what I would love to see for Hokit next. Volkov or Pavlich. Those are the next two that he needs to fight. Rufi by finish, easy play there. We expect the Rufi to get the finish. Chandler's done at 41. UFC did him dirty. UFC did him dirty on that one. Rufi, arguably the best striker in the UFC, guys. That's how dangerous Rufi is. Path to beat him. I don't think he'll ever be a champion, Rufi, just due to his grappling and wrestling. I don't know how much it could improve, but if he gets a guy that's well-rounded, a guy that can wrestle or grapple like we saw before, tough. So I don't think he'll ever be champion, but I think he can get a title shot one day, or at least be right up there. He's not far from, he should get like a top 5 guy next. Bo Nickel, hats off to Bo, and he did it with his striking. I thought he would mix in some wrestling. He did early, but he didn't keep it there. He was actually the better striker as well. I thought Dawkins would probably put up a little better fight. But yeah, Bo obviously was always the side. If you're trying to find value, maybe there was some on that price there. But yeah, Bo's improving. Love to see it from Bo. Give him a, definitely a top 15 guy. Top 10 maybe, like 9 or 10. But we saw what happened when they rushed him with RDR. And Diego. I had a straight up bet on Diego to win money line, minus 150, not a terrible price. He got the second round finish. Started slow. He actually lost round 1. But he was kind of feeling it out, and then Diego put on the gas and got that finish impressive win there. What a card. Still buzzing about the card. That Justin Gaethje win, it took me like 24 hours to recover. It was just unbelievable. Unbelievable performance from Justin Gaethje. One of the best performances you will see ever in the UFC, guys. Unbelievable. Let's get into this card. Tough to follow up. Tough to follow up. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not overly excited about this card. I'll have a small client card this week. I'm still buzzing from that event. Unreal it was. Main event, guys. Kopp minus 155 versus Horiguchi plus 130. It's actually a rematch. It's a rematch from 10 years ago. A fight that happened not in the UFC, obviously, in Rizin. Horiguchi actually won the fight. I went back, watched it. It was more of a grappling wrestling performance, and that's why Horiguchi won that fight overall. Kopp, he's improved a ton. So let's not look at that too much. I'm not going to look at that or hold Kopp feet to the fire with that loss. I'm not going to overlook that fight. So 3-fight win streak for Kopp. Good win last time out versus Royval. One of his better wins. Finished him by knockout. I love his volume recently, Kopp. When he first came into the UFC, he wasn't throwing as much, but when he throws a ton, when he's mixing it up, when he's moving like he can, he does have that power to finish you. Love what I'm seeing from Kopp as of late. Over his 5 significant strikes now on average, that's where he needs to be, 5 or higher. Kopp, when he's undecided or when he's throwing around 3, you don't love to see that Kopp, right? Horiguchi is going to be a lot lower volume. Kopp's going to have the striking advantage here. Horiguchi, you have around 3.7. So, Kopp could win this fight on volume. He could hurt Horiguchi on the feet. Horiguchi's probably going to want to make this a MMA fight. Mix it up, try to get this fight down to the ground where he had success against Kopp last time, because he does have that advantage there. I have Kopp as the better athlete all around. Horiguchi, I have maybe as the more all-around MMA fighter. He has the resume, he has the experience advantage, and he does have the win. So I'm not totally writing him off here, but plus 130, just not excited about that price. Only way I could look at this fight and the winner would be Kopp. He should win this fight. The price isn't terrible. It's just, I don't love betting against Horiguchi, right? I'm not really in the business of investing or betting against Horiguchi. He can be scary. Tough veteran, almost 50 fights. 35-year-old flyweight, don't love that. But he's shown when he came back into the UFC that doesn't matter. Still, play's going to be Kopp. I think he gets it done. I think he can get I would say maybe a 3rd, 4th round finish. That's possible, but I could also see a decision. Can't be too overconfident on a finish here, just because Horiguchi, love what I see from him. Again, I think Kopp's going to be just a little too quick in there. I think his takedown defense is going to be good enough. And he's just going to outstrike Horiguchi. So Kopp's to play here. Not far from a title shot, guys. Kopp. He wins this fight, he can get one. This is his time. And like I mentioned, that takedown defense at 81% now, it's improved a ton. I can't see Horiguchi, if he does get Kopp down, keeping him there. That's why I think Kopp rounds is 5 rounds too, guys. Keep in mind. Co-main, Kudalaba plus 250 versus Sterling minus 310, a random co-main event, but not a bad fight. Sterling getting that tough veteran. It's a test here, right? He's raw, guys. 9-0 kickboxing style out of New Zealand and the kickboxing team over there. Looks the part though, right? Can he grapple? Can he wrestle? That's the big question. Kudalaba, game plan needs to be that if he wants to win this fight. If he goes in there and just stands at range, try to stand and bang with there, he's going to get picked apart and probably finished. But Kudalaba can mix in some wrestling. We know he's a good wrestler. Averages a lot of takedowns per fight over his career. He has a sneaky submission game as well. He will need to wrestle to get this fight in his favor. Will he? That's the big question. That's what your bet is on. 250 value, guys. Minus 310 on Sterling as a 9-0 more raw fighter against a veteran like Cutelaba. No value there. Very difficult for me to bet Sterling here at minus 310. I wouldn't call you crazy if you're going to take a shot at plus 250 on Cutelaba. Just a risky ticket. So it'd have to be a very low unit if you're going to take that shot. He's coming off a nice win, a nice underdog win over Sai or C last time out, remember? It's just hard to trust Cutelaba. You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know his game plan. You know what his game plan should be. Make it ugly, wrestle, use your strength and size to get the fight down to the ground. I don't know. Right? I don't know if he's going to do it. Sterling, 2-1 favorite. I had him at. We're seeing 3 out there. I get it, right? He can knock out Cutelaba on the feet, somehow keep it standing and win there. But he hasn't looked that impressive in his wins, guys. Couple decisions. All right. Cutelaba, though, the thing why I believe he should win Sterling, all right, it's going to be Laline. But I like the value on Cutelaba. Not going to hold your feet to the fire if you bet him at plus 250 for a small unit. I don't know if he can wrestle for 3 rounds, right? Or for at least multiple minutes in each round. His cardio is questionable. That's what kind of worries me. So if he goes out with a wrestling game plan, it could gas him out. 2-3 rounds, Sterling kind of knocks him out on the feet because Cutelaba's tired. I could see that path as well. So yeah, it's not a fight I'll be betting. But value with Cutelaba at plus 250. Hate the line at Sterling at minus 310. Sterling is the much better striker, better athlete, I would say, as well. Conditioning is probably better. I get why he's the favorite. Feely plus 230 versus Oliveira minus 280. I like this fight. Very interested in this fight. And again, I do believe there's value here at plus 230 because there's a path. The path is to wrestle. Oliveira can be taken down. Oliveira wants to keep it standing and knock you out on the feet. And Feely does not want to do that because he could be knocked out, guys. He's been finished 7 times. So Oliveira has that path. If he can keep it standing, he can knock him out. Plus 280, just too much of a big price against Feely, who's a veteran. Fun fact, Feely, since 2020, he's won a fight, lost a fight. Won a fight, lost a fight. He lost his last fight. Keep that in mind, guys. He trains at a big camp. He knows what the game plan should be. Get the fight down to the ground and win there. He's not going to win if this fight is just standing on the feet. So that has to be the game plan here. Feely plus 230 value, but he needs to wrestle. He needs to make an MMA fight and not just stand and bang. Remember Oliveira, guys? He was cruising through the division. He was cruising. And then there was a nice streak. He had some wins over Simon, Nurmagomedov, Kyler Phillips. And then last time out, Batista just wrestled him. He wrestled him, and that's how he won. So Feely's going to watch that fight. He's going to know what the path is. Can he do it at a high level, though? We'll see. And Oliveira obviously went back to work on the wrestling, went back to work on the takedown defense. I'm not going to sit here and say Feely's some big-time wrestler or grappler, because he's not. So keep that in mind. I think there's value on Feely plus 230. I can't bet Oliveira minus 280, even though I do believe he's the better fighter, the younger fighter. I'm not sold. I don't love what I saw against Batista, even though I do believe he bounces back. It's just the price sucks here. Value on Feely at plus 230. Emil plus 155 versus Rodriguez minus 185. It's a tough one here, right? Rodriguez is just a tough guy to handicap. We know how good he was coming as a hot prospect, right? He beat the harder prospect in Roses Jr., remember? And then after that, he kind of just fell apart, right? The Julian Erosa loss. He lost to Costa. Then last time out, who we just talked about, Feely. So what do you really expect from this guy now? I don't expect a ton. It's just a very winnable matchup against Emil. I could see him working his wrestling and getting back on track with a win here. You know, Emil, he had a couple good wins. Gomes is probably his best win, but he had back-to-back losses now against Delgado and Emmers. And, you know, there was some wrestling involved there, especially in the Emmers fight. So I can see Rodriguez working his wrestling, making an MMA fight, and getting a win here, but minus 185 I'm not in love with. This is tough to get to. Guys, Apex, it's a fight night card. There's going to be upsets. What I just talked about, there's going to be 1 or 2 upsets on these plus 250, plus 230, plus 155. He's got to be able to pick it out, right? I'm not in love with Emil. I think he's a fairly decent fighter. I just don't like betting with Rodriguez. He's a very difficult guy to handicap from fight to fight. I'm going to lean he gets back on track here. I just don't love the price at minus 185. A lot of overvalue on here. There's a ton of value here on some underdogs. Definitely on Kudalaba and Fili more. Here, there's not a lot. So I think Rodriguez at 185 I can get to somehow. Tough to call. I would lean a decision. Lean a decision for Rodriguez, but if you want to improve the price, but don't love it. Last one we'll talk about here, guys. Keep this one fairly short. Still buzzing from UFC 250, like I mentioned. Magomedov minus 315 versus Bagasadarian plus 155. Of course, I butchered that name. You know me, guys. Last one I'll talk about here, like I said, 10-0, Magomedov. Another Magomedov is in the UFC. Not as good, of course, but this is his debut fight. And he's at 315. You know me, guys. If you've been listening to me for quite some time, hate betting debut fighters as big favorites, especially against some guy that's been there in the UFC, done that, didn't do that, right? He's fought John Silva's last time out. Of course, he lost, but he has some experience against some big names. Magomedov, I'm high on. He has heavy hands. He could definitely find a finish here. Just the price is off again. Overvalue in the UFC market, a ton on this card. But then if you look back, Sarian, he has some tough losses. Kulabau, he lost. His best wins is against Lutz, who's out of the UFC. And back in 2023, he doesn't fight a lot, injured a lot, pulls out of fights canceled. So yeah, my bet is Magomedov is just, how do you bet it at 315? Lean a finish, but not excited to bet a finish in a guy's debut with a lot of pressure on him. Right? So it's not a card I love to invest in. This card I'm not excited about. Because the favorites I do like, I do believe they're overvalued. And then the underdogs that could win at value, it would be a smaller unit if I were to invest into them, right? So, after a big card last week, we had a huge card, high volume card. Obviously, we got screwed with the Topuria at the end. The rest of the card was perfect. You got the U.S. Open going on, the World Cup. I'm not going to be heavily invested into this card this week, guys. I'll have a couple bets, though, for clients if you're interested in those. I want to get on a run here in the UFC. I haven't got a clean run yet in the UFC, like a 10-0 run. We haven't had one. Just going by right now in the UFC. So looking for a big run. Hopefully we can start one this week. That will do it, guys. Like I always say, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.